Welcome back, everybody, to episode 3. Today, we are actually going to go over the starter packs. So, any of you newbies coming in on the project, thinking about getting it, whatever the case is, and have any questions about, like, which pack should I get? We're going to break down these packs a little bit and kind of give our own personal opinions about the starter packs. Yep. Again, my name is Vintage. This is my co-host.
OG. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody.
And let's get the show on the road.
Thank you.
So on today's list, first off, so the list we're going to start out is going to be lowest to highest, basically. The first initial starter pack is going to be the Aurora MR. It's $45. That includes the ship and the game package, obviously. Now, the ship itself, which you'll see on screen here in just a second, is going to come with 2 size 1 guns and then 2 size 1 missiles. So as far as like fighter capabilities in the hands of a novice, it's probably not going to be great, but as you get to playing the game more, you'll realize that that ship is actually pretty decent when it comes to combat against other fighters. It has a bed, so if you want to log out in your bed instead of returning to a spaceship or something like that, you can do that. And it's got a pretty good area of view and everything like that. Like, it's not horrible. And it doesn't really have much for cargo or anything like that, but it does allow you to throw some stuff inside the ship a little bit, small wise.
It's a good cheap way to get into the game real quick and early and easy. You can do a little bit of everything with this ship. It's about the same. About the same it's gonna cost you to take a girl out to McDonald's. Dollar mean you don't exist no more. It is what it is.
The truth, man. But it really, like, as far as like an entry level ship, which I mentioned this back in episode 1, compared to the Mustang, which is next on our list, to me it's better. I'm not a fan of the Mustang. Like, I started off on the Mustang. But it's a good starting point.
Yeah.
And one of the great things that CIG also does is, so let's say you got the Aurora, but then you decided you wanted a different ship, but you don't necessarily have the entire amount for that ship. Let's just say, for sake of argument, you wanted to get the Cutlass Black, which is like $125. It'll take that $45 and apply it to whatever ship you want to get, and it'll bring that overall cost down. So that's one of the good things. I do like that upgradable feature. Like, you don't have to constantly keep putting in like the full amount. Yeah, because you've done it a few times. I've certainly done it.
I've got my starter pack. It is either up to the Glaive or it is to the MSR. It's one of the two.
I don't need a starter pack anymore because I'm concierge level.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Didn't mean to step on your toes.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, like, once you reach a concierge level, which for those of you who don't know, that's $1,000 vested into the project. You don't what? What'd you say? Oh, whatever. Anyway, so once you get to $1,000 vested in the project, you don't have to have a starter pack. I still have mine, though, and it was upgraded to a 400i. I like that shit, but we're not going to go into that. That's a different topic for a different time.
Different episode. Yeah.
But let's go ahead and touch base on that Mustang Alpha.
Yeah, so our next one on our list is the Mustang Alpha. Comes in at $45, just like the Aurora. Comes with 2 size 2 guns and no missiles. No bed, no missiles, no car. Well, there's one variant, but I don't think it's the starter pack.
Are you talking about for the cargo bay?
Yeah.
So that is
the one?
That is the one on the starter pack. And I'm going to... when I first started, I got the Mustang, right? And I was like, oh, like I have a Mustang IRL, so I'm gonna get it like in game, just for nostalgia purposes of the name, I guess, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
At the time, the cargo bay did not work. Like, it would deploy and it would open. You go throw a box in there and close your cargo bay. The box stays on the ground. The cargo bay goes up into the ship. Like, that's how it did not work. Like, you couldn't do anything with it. Yeah. So it was completely, or actually, no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't even open. The cargo thing would deploy, but the door wouldn't open. Right? Nice. So I was just like, and I just.
Even if, in my opinion, of course, this is my opinion. You guys, this is both of our opinions on the things. You do not have to listen to us one bit. We just kind of give you pointers and things like that. I am not a fan of the Mustang. It's not reasonable. Even if the cargo stuff worked, doesn't have a bed, has no missiles. Everybody likes missiles. Okay? Everybody likes.
We're trying to Top Gun the crap out of this.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you're not going to be winning. You're not going to be doing a bunch of dogfights with this thing. It doesn't have real good health pools. It's not what I would spend 45 hours. If I was going to spend 45 hours, I would get the Aurora.
Absolutely. And we're probably going to catch a lot of hate for that in the comments. Like, I'm not going to lie, because this. So what I've come to notice with the ships in game is the same thing like what we deal with IRL, especially here in the States, with people who are Chevy, Ford, and Dodge lovers. Is like they are all talking smack about the other one that they don't have, So it's one of those things that really honestly comes down to personal preference, and this is why we say like it's our personal opinion, like what we would do. We have the experience of dealing with the ships, and for those who are just coming into the project that have somehow stumbled upon this podcast, which again, thank you for listening in or watching. It's just something that we've dealt with, and when we first started, we were kind of like, which one do I go with? And so that's why we decided to do this. So but next on our list is the C8X Pisces at $60. 2 size 1 guns again, and 2 size 1 so it's got 4 size 1 guns and then 2 size 1 missiles. So you get a little bit more firepower and missiles, but the trade-off is you can actually take people with you on this ship, because it's got, I think, 2 seats in the back that face each other, and then it's got a little bit of cargo room, but it's got no bed, so no bed logging in that sucker, but you can put stuff in it a lot easier. It's a small little nimble ship, can get you places fairly well, but do I think $60 is worth that ship? Not necessarily. Like, there's a variant, it's called the C8R. That's for medical gameplay and things like that. It helps treat tier 3 injuries. But I think that one would be a little bit better for a starter pack. If I had to choose between the C8X or the C8R, it would be the C8R.
Yeah, I agree, because if you are starting this game, you're going to realize you get hurt a lot in this game for no apparent reason. You got to open your ramp, walk out your ship, you break both your ankles walking out the ship. It's just what happens, Yeah. The ice is slippery, it was hot, you burnt the bottom of your feet off, you just get hurt sometimes in this game, and it is very nice to have a medical bed on hand, Yeah,
go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm good. That was it.
Okay. But no, I know what you're talking about. Like, you let the ramp down and you go through and you get like blown off the ramp or whatever.
Tell me how I know.
Yeah, tell me how I know, right? So what I've noticed though with that, just so you know, when we get back to playing the game, if you pull your scroll wheel down to where you're kind of just walking, Like it doesn't do. It may like kind of stumble you or whatever, but it won't just like yeet you off the planet kind of thing. Like so that I have noticed. So just a little.
I'm all gas, no brakes. So.
Speaking of all gas, no brakes, you just bought a new ship, didn't you? You want to talk about it?
The next one we're talking about, the Drake Cutter, coming in at $60. You get 2 size 1 weapons, and you can remove them and put on size 2s. It's up to your preference, this, that, and the other. Most of these ships you can do that with.
Most of them.
Also comes with 4 size 2 missiles, which is pretty neat. Cutter's great. I just bought it. I think I bought it yesterday, actually. Flew it all night. Went and ran bunkers with it. Didn't do any dogfighting. Just wasn't feeling dogfighting. You could do some low threat beacons, things like that with that ship, no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
You could. Now you're not going to be going for critical threats. You're going to die. If you do that, you're going to die. As simple as that.
If you don't, you're going to be there all day.
You know what? If you get in a cutter and go for a critical threat and make it out, you let me know. You can come play with us.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Matter of fact, no. We want to come play with you. That sounded a little weird too, but we're just gonna keep on moving.
Oh man,
Cutter's great. Anyway, Cutter's great. It's got a bed, and most important, I like pretty things. I like my attention to detail. It comes with a good set of paints. If you do in the future decide to purchase paints, yep. I do. But the best thing about the Cutter, it comes with a shitter.
Yeah, it does have a toilet. It's not operational, but it does.
Not operational. I mean, but you can go in there and hang out all day if you want. It's what I did yesterday, at least.
And play on your phone.
Gotta get some kind of peace and quiet on.
Right.
It does have gun racks. Found that out as well.
Yep.
It does have a gun rack. It has an armor rack as well, but that's not yet implemented.
Unfortunately,
coming in the future. It's okay.
No.
It's got this. When you walk into the ship, you go through your little cargo area. It does have a cargo area.
I think it's 4 or 6 SCU. I think I want to say it is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
We were talking last night. We're gonna see if a cutter will fit it, or not a cutter. If a Fury can fit in the cutter, we're gonna try it. It's going to be very tight. If it does work, it's going to be very tight.
Oh my god! I don't recommend this, but okay.
I'm doing it. We're gonna figure it out. But you walk into the ship, you start going up to the cockpit. You have a bunch of attention to detail to the entire ship. It looks good. It's got good paints on it. It does have a VTOL mode, so if that's something you kind of want to experience, it's pretty cool. You know, press your third-person mode, watch your little engines move up. It's cool as hell. Every $60, this, if I was just starting in Star Citizen, knew that, all right, I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at my options. I don't want to spend more than what I would spend with a normal game. Like if I was playing on console, new God of War, $60. You know.
Yep. I get that.
This is what I would go with, because we've all bought a game for $60 that we didn't play. We've all done it.
Yeah, completely agree with that. For like under the $100 range of the packs that they have, like this is your best all arounder. Yes. It has capable weapons. And it's a capable ship. It may not be the best in maneuvering, but you're gonna have your trade offs with the other things. You have the ability to have a cargo bay. I know you can definitely put like an STV or a little PTV ground vehicle in it. It has the weapon racks. It has internal storage. It has bed logging. Like, as far as your bang for your buck for $60,
this is it.
Hands down, this
is it. Yeah. Great ship. I've got mine pink because that's how I'm feeling. If I could name it, it would be named the Pink Weenie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is how I'm feeling. Yeah, great. Cutter's a great ship. I'm in love with this little ship. It's awesome.
Well,
what we got next?
The 100i starting off at $65. It comes with the 2 size 2 laser cannons and 2 size 2 missiles. I would just buy it in game. It comes with a
Agreed.
bed to log out in, and it has like a little bit of like internal storage and cargo like capabilities to where you can throw stuff into it. The only, and I mean the only good thing about this ship, even though it like this and the C8X, they are able to be spawned at the ground pads if you get stuck on a planet. Like if for whatever stupid reason, because it's happened to me, like my ship, I left the engines on, I got off, and that sucker just went floating or whatever, and now I'm stuck planet side, but I'm at one of these little stations that you can refuel at, like the R-Corp mining area 45 or whatever it is. Let's just use that for sake of argument. Now I can go to this ground pad, and I can spawn my ship and get off planet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the only pro to that ship that I find. Like, it's a cool little ship. It can fit in a bunch of other different ships. But as far as, like, a daily driver wise, like, you know, it's cool. But as far as, like, a starter ship, if you like the aesthetics and you like the clean lines and everything like that, it's going to, again, personal preference.
Yes. So, I'm not gonna. I'm a little different than what you're thinking. I'm not gonna say no to it. All right. I'm still with the cutter.
Yeah.
But I do like my ship looks. This is a good looking ship. It is very futuristic styling to it. It's got cool lights on it. It's a good looking ship. You know, I think it's pretty cool.
I've always referred to as Origin being the BMW of the verse.
Yeah.
Or Audi.
Yeah. This is the Beamer or Benz. That's what Origin is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So next on our list is the Avenger Titan. This is what I started out with. Before the cutter was out. Comes with one size. It comes with one size 3 gun. Also comes with 2 size 2s. Also comes with 4 size 2 missiles. It's a cool little ship. It looks really good. It's got good aesthetics to it. It
reminds me of like the shuttle, the reusable shuttle that we have.
Yeah,
like they've nicknamed it the Space Penguin or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminds me of. It's got a good little bit of cargo area. Now, of course, this is my personal opinion. I was upset with the ship because I couldn't get anywhere. I could not get across Staten with it. With the stock quantum drive in it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get to where I needed to be. I had to make multiple stops. Again, I don't know if we said this, but the cutter got a little bit of a glitch going on right now, I think. Maybe not a glitch. You could travel around the Stanton system about 97 times and
the fuel tanks are busted in it. At least currently that I'm aware of.
Yeah. And I did buy it, so I can tell you this is true. You know,
I got it when it went straight from concept to flyable. I think it was during IAE or whatever this past year in 2022. But as far as the Avenger goes, so you can hold, I think it's 8 SCU worth of cargo. So you can actually do like a little bit of like cargo running if you want it. You're not going to make much because you don't have a whole lot of quantity, but you can get into that kind of gameplay. Box missions are easy.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Do a little bit of everything. But the Titan is a pretty good ship. I'm cheap. I won't lie to you. That's just me. So starting out with a game, I wouldn't really recommend it. I did it. I really don't know why I did it, but I did do it now that I'm thinking about it.
It was me, actually, because I was talking to you about the different starter ships, and again, this was before the cutter came out. Yeah. But it was one of those things I was like, dude, best bang for your buck at the time was the Avenger.
Right. It was
because of what you're able to do with it. Like, you can go in dogfights with it because it's got the 1 size 3 and the 2 size 2 and a couple of missiles. It's quick. It's nimble.
It is.
And again,
it's very maneuverable.
With a lot of these, a lot of these smaller ships have size 1 quantum drives. So the only downside is you have to immediately go and upgrade the the Quantum Drive. I'm not going to say immediately, but if you don't want to have to make pit stops, like if you're going from Microtech to Crusader, you're going to have to probably stop 3 or 4 times before you even get there and refuel. So yeah, that's a downside, but it's not a deal breaker. It's just the limitations of the size of the ship. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a deal breaker, but it was disappointing for me. At least I will say that.
Very frustrating.
As getting into a game, you start to figure out things. Figure the quirks out, things like that. And then you get in your brand new ship. You just bought the game. You're like, all right, I want to go over here to Microtech. Everybody's been telling me New Babbage is absolutely beautiful to look at,
which it is,
and it is. And at least for me, I remember the first couple times that I was trying, I was like, man, why can't I get over here? Because I had no idea about quantum fuel or anything like that. I didn't know how to refuel or anything like that. I'm brand new. The station was lucky I didn't run into the door trying to get out.
Unlike your brother.
Exactly. Oh, mock Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's not a deal breaker for me. But at least in my personal experience, it was kind of like a shit. It was just man.
You say you brought up Microtech about being pretty. I think aesthetically, my favorite place is Orison. And this is mainly due to the Sky City for the original Star Wars that came out, not the redone or anything like that. But I grew up, and I would stick Star Wars into the VHS. Yes, that's how old I am. Piss off. And at the time, it was just I was like, oh man, this city is just floating in the sky. I was like, this is freaking cool. And I always had this way over active imagination for the most part. And I always wanted to go out there, into space and explore. And I was always into Star Trek and everything like that. So seeing Orison, a floating city in the sky, was just like, ugh. And the views, I don't the game's not released, but I can definitely tell that the developers have spent a ridiculous amount of time.
Lots of time.
To the attention to detail, because sunrises and sunsets in this game, which to some people are like, oh, I don't care. And if that's your thing, you don't care, you don't care. God, are they this is a game? Yeah. Case in point, dude. There was somebody had took a screenshot, and I don't remember who it was. They took a screenshot and they were on Microtech, and it was the sunrise, and somebody was like, "That's a really pretty place. Where did they go to vacation?" And that's not a vacation. That's the in-game screenshot.
Another case in point. So right now, we're testing out some things in game to see if we want to try to do something. So I got in last night, right? Ship logged previously on the surface of Microtech, right? Woke up in the bed of the MSR, feeling good, Walked over, got some coffee, started to open up the doors to the helm, and you just seen the beautiful gold light of the sunrise coming in through the ship. I was like, oh man. I was like, dude, this is the life. This is so cool. Get in the ship, press F4, you gotta look at the sunrise come up. Dude, it's insane how gorgeous this game is. Yeah, I do that sometimes.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
only sometimes.
Dude, I'm telling you, so I started testing this whole expedition style thing that you were talking about, right? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I woke up in my 890 the other day, and I went out into the foyer, which I did not buy this with real money, by the way. This is in-game purchase. This was maybe a grind, maybe not, maybe eBay. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so and I went out, and I was in the grand foyer of the 890 because I was staying in the executive bed. And it just the sun was literally cresting over the horizon, and I have volumetric clouds turned on. I don't know why it works so well for me. Some people are I cannot play with that, and I'm sorry, I hate it for you because it's freaking gorgeous. It really adds another layer of depth to it, but it's freaking phenomenal. But I love I love that. It is great. It is, and it's getting a little bit off topic. But anyway, up next is the Arrow coming in at $90. It has got, oh my god, like I think was it 3 or 4 guns on it, size ones and or size 2 and size ones. One's I think is a turret that's slave to the pilot. And then it's got like I think 6 missiles on it. It is straight up a dogfighting machine. That's what it is. It is. A lot,
and that's all it's good for.
That really is.
You're not going to do anything else with this ship. If your gameplay style is going to be more actuated towards dogfighting, this is.
You're eventually going to want to get that.
Yes.
Whether it be in game or with IRL money. It is like a lot of the, I guess, die-hard dogfighting people out there. Like this is one of the go-to ships as far as I'm told. Like I don't know 100% because I'm not. These people get ridiculous with these things sometimes, man. I'm like, God, like how do y'all do that? Like
I had bought one in game, and I will tell you, it is almost the most fun that I've had with my clothes on. It was pretty fun.
Dude, have you ever done low flying with it?
I can't fly. You'll be lucky if I get out the hangar with it.
Okay, so yeah, it is zippy. Like I mean, this thing is on a constant feed of crack cocaine, is what it is. I mean, it is ridiculous. Like in it, you press the gas and you feel it, like G's and everything. I mean, it is ridiculously fast, but it is so nimble. And there's a couple of streamers that I've seen on like TikTok and things like that, and they're sitting there and they're flying with their joysticks or their mouse or whatever, and they're just like all over the place, man. And I'm like, God dang.
Doing that.
But dude, it looks so cool, and I've done low flying, and it was fun. Like, and that'll really, like, if you want to get better at just flying in general,
that's how.
That really honestly, like, and actually pushing yourself, like learning the basics obviously first, and then learning about decoupled mode. That was a good thing. You remember Cloak going over that training course, like in the org and everything, like that was a good course.
I was just telling one of our new guys the other day about that, and I told him to reach out to Cloak. Hey, can you give me like a debrief class on decoupled mode, what it does, what it doesn't do. Things like that. It's
good stuff. Like he had a really good first-hand knowledge. I mean, he's been playing since Cloak is actually as y'all heard in the last episode, he's an OG backer. So
he's one special smart cookie.
That's a nice way of putting it. We'll put it that way.
He'll know what I mean. What is
right? But and it's. I had a blast because we went over to Daymar and did a bunch of low flying, and I was in a Origin 85X, which talk about that ship at some other point, but it's a little 2-seater small ship that you can get or whatever at some point. But it just sitting there like just weaving in and out of the canyons and everything like that. It really it was a lot of fun. It kind of gave me that feel of like pod racing from like Star Wars again. Like it's just it's a cool feeling.
Yeah. It is cool. It is cool. The next on our list, this is the Nomad. Cloak, when you hear me talk about this ship, don't get mad at me.
don't get mad at me neither.
So it comes with 3 size 2 weapons. Also comes with 8 size 2 missiles. Everybody likes missiles. This shit is ugly as hell. It looks like a Beyblade flying around, man. And that's the only thing negative I'm gonna say about this. Everything else is cool. It's a neat ship.
It's been described as the Toyota Tacoma of the first.
Yes.
Because it's got this stupid little cargo bay on the outside of the ship that lowers to the ground. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess, all right.
Look, I want you guys to imagine. It does have a bed, but I want you to imagine a Beyblade and someone flying that around. You know what I'm talking about? The little Beyblades you play with as kids. You pull the string, it spins around.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I see this ship. And Chloe probably gonna be pissed at me for saying that. I'm just for $95, it wouldn't be what I went.
I would be disappointed if I paid $95 and I got this ship and didn't know what it was. I would be disappointed.
Yeah, I'd spawn it in the hangar and be like, what the hell is this?
So that ship is almost similar. It's very, I'm not going to say almost, it is very similar to a ship in Elite Dangerous, but it has been a while since I've played the game. I can't remember what the heck it was called. I want to think of like an Atlas or something. I don't remember. Let's just leave it at that. But those who have played Elite Dangerous and have actually seen this ship, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the fact that it has a bed that you can log out is a plus. I'm not going to lie about that. The downfall, like with a lot of these ships, there is only one entrance and exit. Like to me, that's one of the biggest things. Like if it has an interior, like an actual interior of the ship, it's kind of like, why is there only one entrance? I don't like it. Yeah, I will tell you this fun story about the Nomad. It was me, it was Wheezy, which we'll see him here soon too as well, and it was Cloak. And we were going to do bunkers. And it was kind of desyncy-ish on the server, right?
Normal Star Citizen nights.
Right. So we wasn't anything we weren't used to. But Wheezy had went down. We completed the bunker, no problem. Like we started, but Wheezy had went down in the process. And so we stabbed him with the med pen real quick and he got back up, no big deal, whatever. And then we were getting ready to leave, but he was like, "Oh, I found this box." I was like, "All right, cool." And it was the one that has like weapons, so it was like a red box with a gray top.
Yeah.
And he started looting it, and then he was like, "Oh, here, you can check it out." And so, because there was something in there I think I wanted or whatever. But anyway, I'm in the box, and the next thing I know, not only do I hear but see bullet traces flying across my screen. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And I immediately hop out of the box, and Wheezy is hauling butt around a corner because he's getting shot at. I dart to the exit. I'm like, "Nah, I ain't darting around no other. I'm going to the elevator. Screw this." And I was like, "Wheezy, what's happening?" He's like, "The security is shooting at me." I was like, do you have a crime stat?" And he was like, "Apparently." I'm like, "When?" And he's like, "I don't know." And so apparently at some point with the desync, which was worse than what we thought or were experiencing. Yeah. We don't know. We still don't have any idea how, but he has a crime stat for assault or I think it was like murder or whatever it was. Anyway, it was enough for the security to shoot at him. Yeah. So we're like, all right, well, screw this. And Cloak originally had brought his 100i. Like, really? So anyway, I was like, all right, Weez. I was like, you got a crime stat. So I was like, wait before you get on the ship. Cloak had lowered it, opened the ship up, and I was about to board on and get seated. So that way Weez could just jump in and we could just haul butt out of there. No. As soon as I stepped foot on that ship, the turrets of the station or the ground facility started shooting at us. And we bolted like there was we got out of there. Anyway, and it ended up blowing up. In the process of Weez leaving, though, he got shot and downed again. So he was already pretty screwed up and like moving real slow. And so like he was like holding his midsection and limping along, right? That's how messed up he was. Yeah. And so we were trying to figure out what to do because we were now stranded, all three of us. And Cloak was like, "Nah, screw this, I got this." And he alt-F forward and came back, right? So in the process of him, leaving and coming back with a different ship, I was like, "Hey, Weez, let me treat your symptoms so we can at least, excuse me, so we can at least get out of range of the turrets because you got to be at least like I think it's like 1.6 kilometers or something like that away from the station. Yeah. So I pulled out my med gun and set my timers and all that on it with the advanced mode and hit him with it. But because of the DC, like I didn't think it worked, so I hit it a couple more times, and his blood drug level went to like 96%. And so I turned him from limping around to looking like a drunk person.
Drugged up zombie is what he was.
Yes, he was limping and just like swaying all over. I was like, dude, are you okay? He's like, nah, man, I can barely see. I was like, oh.
Whoops. You'll be fine.
I was like, all right, well, this sucks. And I was like, all right, well, like, let's run in this direction so we can at least get out of here. And Cloak had mentioned, like, at this time that he was on his way back. And I was like, all right, cool. And so he's still got to travel quite a bit of ways to get back to us, right? So we're still walking. And as we're walking, the next thing I know, like I saw an icon for a little ladder. Like, you know, it's got like the circle with a little circle inside of it. And it'll tell you like if it's a ladder. I saw that in the air. And I'm pretty sure it was a glitch. Like, I don't think that was supposed to happen. Because I was like, what? Why is there that? I was like, okay, well, maybe it's Cloak, whatever. No, it was getting closer. And I was like, what in the world? And the next thing you know, like, you ever heard of a jet fly over your head and vroom, you know? Like, that's what happened. And, like, the turret started opening fire on it. And, like, this thing was just started circling. I was like, Wheeze, please tell me you don't have a bounty on your head. And he's like, I might. He's like, but that's exactly what it was. We had bounty hunters after us while we were on the surface stranded. Because he is over there, like, circling, looking for us. And everything like that. And I was just like, this is ridiculous.
That is crazy.
Crazy. Like, you want to talk about Murphy's Law on a single bunker run. And we was like, it was late at night. We're like, all right, we're going to run this one bunker and then get off. Nope. Yeah. Game said, no, you're not.
Hold on here.
Right. And here comes Cloak in a Nomad, the whole point of the story. The only time that this thing has been useful. Drops the cargo ramp, the cargo area of the back of the ship, right? And he's like, as he's coming in, like he's got landing gear down in it, and because it's like a Gravlev landing gear, like he doesn't actually touch the ground, like he hit it, and it kind of just like slid right by us, and we hopped on the back. He raised it up, and as he's raising it up, we're getting into the prone position so we don't go flying off the ship, because he is full burn out of atmo. And I turned, like, at first I was facing the ship while I was in the prone position. I turned around because I heard something, and I seen all these flares, like, popping off in the distance. I was like, Cloak, why do we have flares popping off? He's like, because we're getting shot at. I was like, oh, fabulous. So, the only time that ship was ever useful, in my opinion, but it was great. It was a great time. It was fun.
Oh,
it was so fun.
That sounds like a blast.
It was. It really was.
That sounds like a blast.
Needless to say, we successfully made it to Grim Hex without getting blown up. We got shot at a few more times, but we still made it. So
yeah. So Nomad's made a special place in your heart.
Because I have a little bit more respect for the Nomad because of that versatility part of it. But like if they're like, hey, do you want to fly the Nomad or any other ship in the game? Pick any other ship in the game. It is not my go-to. Like, another reason why I don't like the Nomad is because I did have it at one point. Okay, so it's not just an aesthetic thing. Like, I had it. Yeah. And I was on Clio around Brio's Breaker Yard or whatever it is. Because there is one on Clio. Or Euterpe, whatever the hell it's called. But anyway, I had put my landing gear and turned my engines off. The wind was so bad, I was trying to run to where I was going. But because the wind was coming at me, I was like literally walking. Like I was like the winds were that strong. Anyway, I went to go get what I was there for, and I come back, and I'm like, why is my ship 6 kilometers away? The wind had literally blown the doggone ship that far away from me, and I had to go chase it down. Needless to say, I didn't chase it down, and I just logged out for the night and just said screw it because it was already late. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that.
Don't blame me one bit. I would have done the same thing.
After that, I never flew the Nomad again.
Yeah. I mean, for $95, it's just not on my list that I would.
No.
If I were to start over, it would be with a Nomad.
I'll tell you,
it's handy.
It's handy at some points, but it can be a pain. But this was also earlier in the game development too. I don't think the ship actually performs that badly now, but I have not experienced it enough currently to speak differently of it since I messed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is on my list though is this Drake Cutlass. Even though it is 125, it's got 4 size 2 weapons, which can easily be upgraded to a size 3. And then it's got a man turret for your buddy if you want to bring him along.
Yep.
And then it's got a whole bunch of missiles. So I think it's got like 16 or something like that. And they're like size 3, if I'm not mistaken, memory serves me correctly. And it's got plenty of room in the back if you are a miner and you want to put a rock miner in there and you want to do some ground mining, you can do that. It's got side doors you can chunk cargo in or whatever. You can run cargo as well. It's got 2 beds, which your buddy can't log out on your ship right now anyway, but it's got plenty of room for you to bring buddies along on it. Like it's big enough for like a small group, like anywhere from 2 to 4 people. Overall, it's if you were willing to spend money, you're like, you know what, I want to get this game, but I want the best start possible ship, and you were willing to spend money, Cutter. A lot of people hate the Cutter, but there's a lot of, like, this thing's also, like, got a cult following, too. So, I mean, it goes both ways. So, it's got the VTOL mode and everything. And then, I actually used the Cutlass. It was in my first org. And a guy was flying, and Dark was flying, and he's a pretty good pilot, and I was turreting, and we was knocking him down, left and right in the Cutlass.
Yeah, it's a great ship. Yeah, Cutlass. I owned I think I had upgraded to the Cutlass from my game package originally.
I think so too.
And man, I had a blast with it.
Yeah,
it's a good starting point for kind of like a small multi crew. You know, you and your buddies can all load up in it. You can go to bunkers, take like you were saying, take mining vehicles with you. Go and do that. It's got a decent amount of firepower with it. It's also got a decent amount of health pool. It's got decent shields. It's a good all around. It's a great all around.
Yeah, for over the $100 mark, just like with the Cutter, like the Cutlass is its big brother, and if you were willing to spend over the $100 mark, then this would be the best bang for your buck, personal opinion wise.
Yeah, so I agree with you 100%. I think the Cutlass is a good all-arounder for that price point. I do agree.
Absolutely. God forbid one of your engines gets shut off on the back, but it's still a.
We're not gonna worry about that. It's Drake, so I mean,
it's already held on by duct tape.
These are the things you need to understand before you purchase it. So next on our list is the MISC Freelancer, coming in at $125. 4 size 3 weapons, and then it's also got a man turret. It's got 2 size 2 weapons on the turret, and it's got 8 missiles. 4 are size 3. 4 size 2 missiles. Now.
What?
No.
Straight no, huh?
No. This ship does not make enough sense for me to spend $125 on.
So out of the 2, it's definitely the Cutlass.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
What about the ship though? What is it?
It's not exciting. Like, this is
dull lines.
It is. It's just like you. I mean, that's the only explanation I have. I mean, it's just a freelancer. It's neat. It may be for right up other people's alley, just not mine. It's just.
You know what I don't understand about the ship?
What?
Is when you get to the cockpit, there's 4 seats.
Why is there 4 seats?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand about it. I can understand a pilot and a co-pilot, and if those 2 seats were like for like the side turret things, like if those were like unmanned turrets, it completely makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's not what they're for.
So there's just 2 seats, like 2 car seats behind you when you're flying around.
Right. That your little brother and sister could sit back there and argue about. Yeah, that's exactly.
Press all the shiny buttons.
Well, you can't even do that. Like, so it gives you.
It's just a seat.
Yeah, like the co-pilot and the 2 seats behind you. Like, as far as like I'm pretty sure at some point they'll bring it into where it's got actual functionality. Yeah. But as it stands right now, it's just kind of like, okay. And the other thing I hate about it is the man turret in the back. That is intruding in on the cargo bay. So in the back, like you got these 2 struts that are in the cargo bay, and the turret seat drops down on those turrets or on those struts, right? And that's how you get into the man turret on the top of the ship.
Yeah.
Those struts are stationary and they stay there, like they don't move. So they don't go up into the turret. So it blocks the cargo bay. So if you want to load a vehicle, you better hope it fits between the cargo door shutting and those struts. And I can tell you this much, it doesn't. And it, like, I've seen so many different things on it, and it's so sketchy that it's like, I don't even want to mess with it. Like,
yeah. I mean, as far as the starter pack goes, I wouldn't recommend spending on the freelancer. I like of course, like I've said a couple times, my opinion. I just don't see why I'm spending this money for this shit.
Right now.
Right now, at least.
Because like it may have some increased functionality at some point.
Yeah, it may become important.
Yeah, it may be a great ship at some point, but as it stands right now, like, no. I mean, that's just it's not my thing.
I'm right there with you. It's just
Yeah. That brings us to our honorable mention.
Yes.
OG, you have had this ship. I have had this ship. I enjoyed the mess out of this ship. Yes. But it is the RSI Constellation Andromeda. This is on the very high tier of the list. That's why we're giving it an honorable mention. Not something that I would recommend most people who are just getting into it. It's $275.
Yeah.
However, you get a few things with it. I think you get like a poster that actually gets shipped to you, which I think is kind of cool if you're into that kind of thing. It comes with some other in-game items that are not available currently. Yeah. But you also get a Gray Cat PTV. Looks like a little golf cart, basically.
Yeah.
So you get an extra little ship to go along with it, which is cool. Is the ship worth $275? Overall, it's kind of hit.
Yes.
The package, because the ship alone is like what? What was it? What was the OG? Like, what was it?
It's $240.
$40. So $240. So that's what, $35 extra for the game package, and you get a little bit more extra stuff, and you're also paying for the game package and the PTV. So, and I think that's like $35 itself, or $30, something like that. It's less than $40. I know that. So it's if you were to buy them separately, you would pretty much you'd pretty much be paying for the game package, but the game package gives you the game and the added little features that aren't in the game yet, but eventually will be when Persistent Habs and Hangers comes about. So honorable mention wise, it's not bad if you're willing to spend the money. That's the key factor there. My only gripe with that ship is maybe it was user error. We're gonna say I'm gonna blame it on the game because that's what backers do. that thing would always take a nosedive because the landing gear, it for the most part is towards the back of the ship, and the nose like it's so long, and it would teeter towards the cockpit. So the viewing angles aren't bad, but you have all these struts and things like that in front of you that it kind of obscures some of the vision, but aesthetically wise, the ship is cool. It's got plenty of cargo. If you're one of those people that is looking for like a high dollar entry level like cargo running, this thing has like 96 SCU worth of cargo space. So you could really actually get like good in-game currency. Like if that's your niche and that's something you want to do, like that may be the ship for you if you're willing to spend the money.
Yeah.
But
for me personally, Andromeda is a cool ass name. That just sounds like, man, I don't want to go fight that. And you don't, because this ship has 52 missiles on board.
It's also got, stock wise, I think it's 4 size 4 guns.
Yeah.
And the top 2 are gimbaled, where you can change them out for size 5s, but then they become non-gimbaled, of course. But
yeah, it is.
It's wicked. I mean, it can be. It's powerful in the right hands. I'll put it that way.
I mean, and it's a good looking ship. It's nice to fly. The viewing angles aren't the best, as far as from the helm.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's got good cargo space. It's got good space. I think it's a real good starting multi-crew ship. You can have a bunch of people in there.
Doesn't it have the snub fighter?
I
know it has the capability of it.
It does have the snub fighter.
It does, but so it would come with the P-52 Merlin, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I want to say it does.
Let me double check. I'm almost positive.
Let me put it this way: if it doesn't, I don't know if it comes in the actual game package or the ship itself, but I know it has the ability, like if you have a P-52 Merlin, that you can dock it to the back of the ship. So it definitely, like that's one little niche thing. So you get like this little snub fighter you can take with you, which is really stinking cool. And on the other fact, it actually has 2 turrets, 2-man turrets. So it has a good capability for multi-crewing. For you and a few of your buddies. So I mean, it's on the par level of the Cutlass. It multi-crew wise is a pretty decent like multi-crew vessel, and that's
it is. I'm looking for it right now.
Okay. I don't think the game package comes with it, but I want to say the ship, like if you were to buy it like solo, comes with the snub fighter. But I mean, the P-52 Merlin, regardless of whether it comes with it or not, can be purchased in game for like less than, I want to say, 300,000 or something like that. I mean, it's cheap in game.
Yeah.
So
I think it does,
but
come with it in the game package, because it comes with the Andromeda, which has the snub fighter with it.
You talking about solo, the 241?
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't put that in there. Now, I could be wrong, but regardless, just like you said, even if not, the P-52 is not a difficult ship to obtain in-game.
Yeah, not at all.
So, yeah, but, man, I'm a big fan of the Connie. I think it's a great multi-crew ship. There's a bunch you can do with it. There's not really much you can't do with it as far, you're not going to be fighting critical threats with it, of course.
Well, I mean, if you had some buddies with you, like actually in the turrets and whatnot.
Let me rephrase that. You're not going to solo critical threats with it, unless you
that good of a pilot. I don't know.
Starting out, if you're a pilot, come on by.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, it's got some powerful guns to it that would keep the shields of the Idris down once you actually get them down. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be there for a hot minute. Like, I'm not going to lie about that, solo-wise. But if you had people manned in your turrets, like, I think with the right crew, you could probably solo an Idris in the critical threats. I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah.
But You can definitely pull off some Florida man stuff going on.
Speaking of Florida man, I got one. You want to hear
You got
it?
one? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Let's hear it. October 9th, 2020. This is a classic Florida man procedure here. I haven't done it myself. Don't think you've done it yourself, but
Probably not.
you know,
I don't
we
associate
could.
with those.
If we had them in this part, we'd do it now. Ryan Asburn and Kevin, can't say his last name, bagged a scaly behemoth in the Everglades, setting a new stake record. That was the previous largest snake was 1/10 of a foot shorter. They caught a 18.9 Burmese python. 18.9 foot Burmese python. A damn snake. A snake.
And they got arrested?
It didn't say they got arrested, but
Did they live?
this is. It didn't say they died.
They
For
just
reference.
They just saw a snake and was like, "Let's get it." Is what you telling me? Nah,
Yes.
man.
So for reference, if you look at your wall, it should normally a sheet of sheetrock on a wall is normally 9 foot.
Yeah,
This snake was 18.9 foot.
almost 19 feet. Nah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. I mean, it's longer than 2 of your cars.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, not my cup of tea.
Man,
Not doing it.
that's a man eater.
Yeah, dude, that
A
thing, if it
19
wraps
foot
around
python,
you,
that is a man eater.
you're no,
No,
These people
some
are
Florida.
nuts.
I ain't that Florida crazy.
nah, neither am I. Like, I know I got a bit of a southern drawl and everything like that, but good lord,
That's not me. No, but man, that is cool. That is cool though.
heck yeah,
Leave it up to Florida man.
right, all the time. But hey, we appreciate y'all dropping by. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share it, comment. If you got any ideas or something you want to hear us talk about and get our opinions on, or if you just want to ask us a question, drop it in the comments. We'll be happy to reply to that. Let us know. Until next time, y'all have a good one.
Hey, Mini Vintage here. I just want to say thank you for all those that listen to this podcast. It means a lot to me and my dad. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, check the description down below for all our socials. 07 Citizens.